Hi guys. So um this is an afterthought because I already started editing the pictures before I thought about making a video of how I edit or my editing process. So if you look closely, you see that I already started removing blemishes from the face of the model or subject or whatever you're snapping. So the key to this one is to try and edit in such a way that the picture still looks as natural as possible because it is obviously not a beauty picture that you try to make as perfect as possible. So key here is keeping it natural while still removing as much blemishes as possible. So yeah, so we're starting. First thing is, as you can see, I created a layer on top of my background layer where I'm doing the blemish removal, and I'm using my healing brush tool with my this set to current and below as opposed to current layer, because if I do the current layer it will only show on this layer, but doing current and below means anything I do here also applies to the lower layer. So the way healing brush works is you press your alt key to select a point that has no blemish, and then you paste on the blemish to correct it, and you have to make sure you're selecting a part that is really close to the blemish you want to remove so the difference is not so apparent. So I'll keep doing this, but I'll most likely fast forward so I don't waste you people's time, and then we'll meet later. So I'll do it for a bit, then fast forward it so I don't waste your time. I'm using a mouse, not even a mouse. I use my laptop trackpad because I don't have a digitizer, but I think to a reasonable level, I've learned how to work with what I have, which is my trackpad. Oh, by the way, this picture was taken with window light, natural light, as you can see. So she was standing beside the window, facing the window at an angle for adequate illumination. So just enjoy and keep watching. Thank you. So as you can see now, to a reasonable extent, I've removed most of the blemishes. So now that I'm done with this layer, I'll merge the layers to the top using Command Alt Shift E or Control Alt Shift E if you're using a Windows system. And yeah, I normally delete layers I know I won't go back to. So from here, the next thing I'll do is my frequency separation. I have a shortcut I use. I hope you either know how to do your frequency separation or you also have a shortcut that you use. Now I'm reducing my Gaussian blur to 10. Normally you're supposed to keep it at 14 to 16 for portraits like this, but so I can have a whole lot more blemish show in the color layer. I'm bringing it down to 10 and I think I have enough texture to make up for what I did, and if I don't have enough I'll find a way to sharpen the textures later. So now I have my low layer and my high layer, and from there I'll go to blending my skin tones, which is my low frequency. And to do that I have my mixer brush tool, and big shout out to Prince Mason for this one because he opened my eyes to this. I didn't before. I used to use the polygonal lasso tool with Gaussian blur, but after watching one or two of his tutorials, I learned how to use the mixer brush tool to do that. So basically what you do is move it, like click and move it around spots you're trying to fix, but the key is to not move it in sharp brisk places because then it gets too obvious. So and as you can see now, I increase or reduce my brush size depending on what I wanted to do. So sometimes if the space you're working with is limited, you reduce your brush size, and if you want to work with a larger area, you increase your brush size. So there's no standard way to do it. It just depends on what works well for you. And yeah, as you can see, I'm also using that to take the eye bags away. So I think at this stage I've gone far enough. Any further than this, and I might start to make it look too realistic. So I'll leave it where it is now. And now coming to my texture layer, I'll do some more blemish removal. Um, Here I'll be using my patch tool because I want to remove eye bags, which I have done most of in the low layer, but there's a line around her face that's still in the frequency layer. So for that, I'm going to just cut out the bag and move it down a bit. And now there's no line there again. Also, if I see any around here, say this, I can easily take it off. Please ignore my laptop. I'm running low on memory. So now that we have this, you can see this is where we started from, and this is where we are now. Started, and here we are now. So from what you've seen, you can see that if you didn't if you didn't see me retouching, or if you don't have an idea of what it looks like naturally, you might still be a bit convinced to think this is what the image looks like from the beginning. So what I'll do next now is the dodge and burn, which I really don't do much of for natural portraits like this, but just to increase the contrast, I use my curves. Also, I think I also learned this from, okay, I don't know, I didn't learn from Prince Mason, but he uses another style, but using curves for my dodge and burn, I'm fixing the highlights. I create the layer. You saw how I did it, then invert the layer mask, and now I'm just going to paint on the areas I want highlighted. So if I have here now, let's say here, then for places I don't want the highlight to be as pronounced as the rest, I reduce my flow and opacity and do the same with them. Then for the nose, to make the nose a bit more defined, increase my flow and opacity. Then you make sure you check for the highlighted side. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the middle of the nose. Just find where the highlight is and paint to that side. Then next, if you see now, you see the difference. Toggling off the highlights, you see the difference between the before and after. And then next I'll do is same method I used, curves, but now I'm doing my shadows. So I click down then invert the layer mask. On my brush tool also, I paint on the areas I want shadows. So say here, it just gives a more defined cheekbone. Then sides of her head where the highlights wasn't really apparent. And to make it blend a bit more, I developed by myself. I didn't learn it anywhere. But when you shade or when you paint your highlights and contours, they might be a bit too defined and you want to soften them a little bit to make them look more natural. So I just blow out the layer, and from that, I don't know if you can see the difference. If you look at the cheek, you see the difference between before and after the Gaussian blow. Then I can do the same for the highlights too. And this also, like I said, doesn't have a specific value to it. You just do what you feel is convenient, and voila, we have our before and after. Before and after. And I think I'm not really enjoying what our face looks like. So using Command Alt Shift E or Control Alt Shift E if you're using a Windows PC, I'm going to merge the layers so I can do my what's it called liquify to maybe correct. Looks sharp now, but not overly sharp. The image was sharp by itself before, so I shouldn't overdo it. And I saved the image, Command S, because I did the option of editing from Capture One. Once I press save, it automatically saved into my Capture One editor. So now that the image is saved, I'll move to my capture one where I still have the original image here. But if I scroll down, it takes me to the final image. So I hope I have been able to bless one or two people with my tutorial, and I hope you guys will learn and also improve in your skill. Thank you very much.